Welcome to Valentine's Day, moving on TV style. So how do I talk about Valentine's Day without making it commercial, like lots of stations do? And we're here always to look for a new angle, something more exciting, something more diverse, something global. Anyway, the whole atmosphere is here at the moment as I sit in this beautiful garden and I can hear the birds tweeting away, singing. Total freedom, romance, the perfect setting to bring the person that you really, really love and propose to them perhaps. But what if Valentine's Day has got a lot of other implications? What if Valentine's Day is known in lots of other places in the world in a completely different way to the way we know it? That's what I'm here to talk to you about. So not only am I here with the red rose, the symbol of love, l'amour, I love you, je t'aime, אני בחבק, אני אוהבת אותך, lots of languages where we can say I love you with a beautiful red rose. Not only am I here to tell you about the red rose and the history of the red rose, but we're going to be interviewing people and asking them what Valentine's Day means to them. So how about I start with a little bit of my story? Not to bore you too much, but 22 years ago, I got up at 4 a.m. in the morning on the 14th of February, and there was a card with a monkey on it and a balloon, and on the card it said, "Will you marry me?" And that's when my husband proposed to me, and we've been together, married now for 21 years. But you see, this seems to happen on Valentine's Day. Maybe it's a really good thing that we have this, because people who really connect and care about each other, they don't always have the courage to actually get down on one knee and propose. And also women get a chance to propose to their boyfriends. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing because it gives them that extra courage to know, wow, 14th of February, I'm going to propose. I'm going to really commit to that one person for the rest of my life. What a huge thing. What a huge thing to do. But anyway, let me tell you a little bit more about Valentine's Day, but let me tell you about it from the global point of view, because here on Moving on TV, we're looking for different angles. I'm excited to not talk about the chocolates and the roses and the romance and the films and the commercialism and the perfumes and the naughty underwear. I'm excited to talk about what Valentine's Day means to lots of other people. And you don't have to be in a relationship or a romantic relationship. I've been looking on the internet and reading quite a lot about Valentine's Day. And one of the things that really struck me was that it actually comes from pagan traditions, as we know, everything usually does, but it's called the holiday of love. And love, to me, is not just the love of a man or a woman or a man and a man or whatever. That's not what it means. Love is an unconditional thing. To me, it's universal. And in Finland, they actually do follow that up. And Valentine's Day to them is the love of a friend to another friend. So they send a card to their friends to tell them they love them. Isn't that beautiful? In Norfolk, there used to be a character called Jack. And he used to go to the back doors, and if there were children living there, he would leave sweets. Now, that sounds a little bit strange in our day and age, you know, if you think of the implications, but it was just a gesture, and they called him Mystical Jack. And then you get China. China calls it the holiday of lovers, or the day for lovers. So it's very similar to the Western world, where we have latched onto it, where it's to do with lovers rather than just friendships. We all come from different parts of the world with our own ideas and our own cultures and bring them together here on Moving on TV, which is beautiful. We bring our cultures, we bring our religions, we bring our ideas together. It's so exciting. What is the significance of the rose then? The red rose. And in every culture and language, we know, and particularly in France, as you know from the Piaf shows and everything, the red rose symbolizes love, romantic love, and also connection to people and the love of people. Now apparently, if you give one rose, your intentions are romantic. If you give 25 roses, it's to say thank you. And if you land with 50 roses on your doorstep on the 14th of February, it means that you're getting global love. People are saying to you, I love you, no matter who you are and what you are. My brother, my sister, my friend, my mother, my aunt, my uncle, my pet. 50 roses is a global love thing. Has anybody ever been given 50 roses all in one go? I've seen it in the films, when you walk into a room and this person wants to show their devotion, and the whole room is covered in roses. And what about those little petals that they strewn all over the place, and you've got to follow them to the bedroom? So we're back to romantic love again. But isn't that interesting? Now, the red rose actually originated from the goddesses, believe it or not. Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love, and Venus, the Roman goddess of love. That's where the red rose comes from originally, apparently. And we use it, as I say, in different ways. So when you get to the 14th of February, are you going to do something different this year? How about ringing up your friends or sending them a text and saying, hey, I really care about you. Thank you for being in my life. I know it sounds kind of cheesy and corny and not cool, but wouldn't that make their day so much happier if you just said to them, I really, really want to say thank you for you being in my life. That's it. Nothing else. I don't expect anything back. That person's day will change for the better. What other incredible things can you do on Valentine's Day then? If you take away the implication of romantic love and you're not in a relationship, ring your mom, your dad, your uncle, anyone, and just say, I love you. And that all that means is I'm so glad you're in my life. So we can all become part of Valentine's Day then. You don't need to be just in a relationship or falling in love. That's how you can celebrate it. Think about it. If you take away the commercialism like we do with Christmas and all the other holidays and festivals, it becomes something so deep in our hearts. And that's what we want to show you on Moving On TV. That's what we want to show you. We're not interested if you can't afford a box of chocolates or a rose. We're interested in what's in your heart. And we're interested in that coming across to everyone in the world. And that's how I'm going to be celebrating the 14th of February, apart from buying an anonymous card and putting it through the door for my husband, because that way he thinks he's got secret admirer. And it gets quite funny. But apart from that, have a beautiful Valentine's Day this year. And just think about what I've been saying here. So that's it really. That's the conclusion I've come to. Tell people you care about them and love them and cherish them all through the year. Don't wait for the 14th of February. And for God's sake, women, if you want to propose to your man, just do it. And don't wait for that one day to do it. And the same with you guys. Just get on with it. Because once you find that special person to share your life with, you will never look back. So take care and spread the love. together. Do you want to tell them about?
All
So
right.
what
On
was
the
it?
first year we met, myself and Lauren, we were part of a social club called the Coffee Pot, and we were invited along to perform in a Victorian melodrama. That's where we both were. I was actors and actress at the Compass Theatre in Ickenham. And basically, during the melodrama, I played the part of a drunken blackguard, Schwartzy, and Lauren was my mole, Bubbles. And one of the few memories I have of that time, of halcyon days, you might say, was during the show, during the performance, I had to hand out money. And Lauren was so enthusiastic and excited about performing that she was punching me by the side. And I was started to laugh, and I couldn't have the time to hand out this damn money. And basically, we just, the scene nearly was, we nearly blew the whole thing, really. But, at the time, it was just very, very, it was just it was just a very enjoyable, it's just funny experience, really.
I think that's what really brought us close, because when we started performing on stage together, that's when the connection got stronger between us. And people used to say to us, "Are you married?" And we weren't even going out, but we used to end up at the same auditions together, and bit by bit, things started to happen.
Yeah, that was it. So
that's probably
so
one
that's
of
my abiding memory of
memories.
over 21 years ago now. We were performing
22.
at 22 years
22?
now ago. We were performing at the Compass Theatre, and never a look back since.
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah.
But it's just something I thought would be nice to say, because what is it that keeps people together? I think it's really important that the things that we have in common that keep us going. I mean, then it was acting and performing, but I think these days we love Ewington, we love nature, we love going into nature, and the cats.
Yeah,
I suppose we love the cats. And also it's really nice when you do something like this, when you're part of Moving On TV, and I'm sure you're going to lose a lot of female supporters now they know that you're mine. Anyway,
I'm not so sure about that. Anyway, as I'm an actor.
Thank
anyway.
you.
Anyway.
Well, that's our little story for Valentine's. So thank you.
Oh, my love's like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love's like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. As fair art thou, my bonny lass, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till the seas are gang dry. Till the seas gang dry, my dear, and the rocks melt in the sun, I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run. And fare thee will, my only love, and fare thee will a while, and I will come again, my love, though it were 10,000 miles. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless chimes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens over her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek and over that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, that tell of days in goodness spent. A mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent.
Valentine's Day special for Moving On TV. I've got a very special person with us here. Do you wear your heart on your sleeve, Edwina Knapp?
My heart on my sleeve? That's the sleeve, yes. And okay, that's the heart.
There's your heart on your sleeve.
I get the hint now.
Well, you're a very compassionate person, a very compassionate human being. Cut, I dropped the rose. Okay. You're a very compassionate human being, and I've known you for quite a while, and you're a very good friend, and you're very supportive of Moving On TV. And to me, a person like yourself, the expression is, I wear my heart
flattered.
on my sleeve.
I'm flattered.
But yeah, so someone who's not afraid to give a lot of compassion and to say how they feel, that's the metaphor. So what would you say that, am I right? Do you think I'm right? Would you say that you're able to express your feelings and be compassionate to others, which is a big gift?
Yes, I never had problems with actually expressing feelings, or whatever they may be at the time. Especially when I had my heart operation last Christmas, that put me in a frame of mind thinking about preparing for death, you see. So, and I have to apply my probability theory about how likely I'm going to die and so on, you know. So, and I thought I haven't got enough years to actually make everything work, probably. So,
do you feel that changed you then? The thought of that you could die because of what's happening with your heart. Do you feel that made you more?
I don't think
about
about dying
open?
as such, you know.
Yeah, running out of time.
I just think I have a journey that is likely to be this long, and I would like to accomplish certain things on this journey. So, and became very much in touch with my feelings.
Okay.
That was very good of that. In fact, it did me a lot of good having an emergency.
Well, this is what happens. A lot of human beings, we tend to have to wait for that moment before we can actually open our hearts and tell people how much we care about them, or do something nice. Sometimes we have to be at that level of crisis, and so that you feel that's what basically enhanced your life in some way.
Yes, I had a very clear path straight after the operation, and then as time wore on, things became more and more complicated. Now I'm sort of starting to things become so complicated that I'm starting to lose my way again. So I need to sort of go back to that moment in time and make myself feel again.
Yeah. Well, they say the heart is the center of love, don't they? And when you go through something like, what was it open heart surgery you went through or something? What was it?
Oh yes, they had this very high-tech thing.
So in a way, your heart opened.
Yeah, well,
metaphorically, symbolically.
Oh, but physically. The heart operation, they put me in suspended animation by sort of cold storage.
Oh, okay.
That is how they do it nowadays.
Okay.
I think it's something to do with the fact that they discover that skiers being frozen in the mountains, you can bring them down, and you can sort of they sort of survive in the suspended animation.
That's fascinating. And what? Obviously, in another program, I'm going to interview you about lots of different things. But today, I mean, I'm really happy. Talking about hearts and talking about roses and valentines and red, and
You can hear my heart.
I can
If
hear.
if you turn down the volume.
Where is it? Over there. Sorry, that's the left. Yeah. Sorry, left side of the body, the heart. I put it on your right side. Your heart's over there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. In fact, yesterday I read a scientific article about this man who has got a mechanical heart working alongside with his own heart.
All right.
Hmm.
So he's got two hearts.
Yep.
So he should be even more loving, because it's the symbolism of hearts, as I say, is about love, unconditional love and giving. But we're talking about Valentine's Day,
Yes,
and I invited you.
My conception of Valentine is sort of
what is your conception of Valentine's?
Rather different from most people, because firstly I have never had a Valentine given to me.
Oh, did you hear that? You've got to all send lots of Valentine's cards to Edwina now. I've put lots of messages on Facebook.
Yeah.
Go on.
All right, and then where's I? Oh, yes, this way. So when it's Valentine's Day, I don't think about what should I be doing in a Valentine's Day, and I have to get myself out to a disco and things like that. Oh no, I just thought I'll make use of this day, where everybody else is wasting their time dancing around a disco.
And what is it? What do you do then?
Here,
What's special to you?
Yes, tonight is quite good. Sitting on this movie on television and doing an interview that I've never done before.
Something exciting and new. Right. So we talked about love, romantic love, and how I did ask you, because I was interested in knowing
I don't find that this commercial stuff that there's a Valentine's Day, everybody has got a loving heart, you see. Oh no.
No, not enough. But
it's that love comes at an unpredictable time. You can't say on the 14th of February you're going to fall in love.
Yes. So basically what you're saying is, what we talked about before was just get on with it any day. Just tell your friends you care about them and love them. Make it a more, it doesn't have to be just the 14th of February where you actually get the courage to say something. But you did say you fell in love, you did fall in love with someone when you were younger?
Yes, I would say I was infatuated with her for a little while.
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
That was when I was 23 years old.
Oh, okay.
I just graduated from university and started a full-time job as a computer programmer, and we, three of us from the same department, decided to buy a house. Four of us in the department decided to buy a house, and we all played Go, you see. And then we had a party. And one of the girls from my housemate Roger's church came along. For some reason, she was very interested in me, and after the party, she decided to phone me up and go out for an outing, and we went to Spencer's Gallery in Cockham. Well, that was my first sort of taste of romance. Yeah.
And that was it? You never wanted to do it again? Is that it? You decided
No, that was very interesting.
Great.
Yeah,
But no, as we said, it's really good to hear and to listen to, stories like this. But again, when you think about Valentine's Day over the years, I mean, you weren't born here. You come from Hong Kong, don't you?
Yes, I was born in Hong Kong until 15 years of age. I was studying there.
And did you have anything like this in Hong Kong? The 14th of February?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Indeed, yes. In fact, I actually spent a Valentine's Day up in the mountains on a building site.
Oh my God!
The Boy Scouts and the Girl Guides, you see.
Oh,
And,
I see.
This was only 1 month before my parents sent me over to England.
Okay, so you actually celebrate Valentine's Day in Hong Kong as the same way as the Western world, or does it have a different implication? Because we talked about Finland, where Valentine's Day is actually Friends Day, where you send a blessing or a love note to a friend. And in different countries, you know, different ways of thinking about it. So in Hong Kong,
Well, Hong Kong is a
the
British
same?
colony, so
Yeah,
they have the same meaning over there.
so it's
Yes.
still a romantic connotation,
Yeah.
proposals and flowers and
Yeah,
roses.
but it wasn't a big that romantic back in the 1970s.
That's really interesting because, as I say, here on Moving on TV, we want to hear all the different global and cultural differences, and we want to bring them here. So is there anything at all that you feel that you may be doing this year that you haven't done yet?
The courage required by me isn't a proposal. The courage is actually finding someone and think, I'm going to commit. And that is the scary bit. You can get it wrong, you see.
Well, it's taking a relationship.
Not confident yet.
Right. Well, who knows? Maybe we can find you someone.
Yeah.
What are you looking for then? What do you look for in a relationship?
I think very much someone who is a kind of teammate with me. I'm very creative and practical, you see, and I'm really looking for a kind of inventor partner, someone, someone who can inspire me to think creatively, and being a taskmaster to keep me prodding on.
Well, that's very brave because opposites do attract, and I think you do need that balance of people that are very different. The partners are very different in order to bring that balance up.
Yeah.
So you're asking for someone because you're very scientifically minded, you're very grounded. So you're looking for someone to actually develop that creative side of your mind. Is that what you're saying?
It's more to well, I haven't decided for one thing.
Well, we wish you well,
Yeah.
and who knows, hopefully, you know, once this goes out, we might find a mate for Edwina. Which would be really nice.
Oh, thank
It'd
you.
be, who knows what Moving on TV is going to make happen, or, you know, what we'll but it's been lovely speaking to you, and I wish you really, really important. I hope that everything will have you for the 40, 50 years. If you want to be around for that long.
That would be very optimistic.
Lots of Valentines. Okay, it's lovely. Take care, Edwina. Thank you so
Lauren.
much. Thank you. Hi, Queenie.
Hello, Lauren. Good evening.
Hey, good evening. Well, we're here on Moving on TV today, and it's a Valentine's special, a romance, love, unconditional love. And we're very, very lucky to have Queenie, Jacob's grandmother. Lovely lady.
Yes.
Is that your real name, Queenie?
I was christened Queenie, yes. Everybody asked me, is it a nickname? And it was my granny's nickname, but I was christened Queenie. Although it gets confusing because I was christened Elsie Queenie. So if I go into hospital and they call out Elsie Creswell, I take no notice for a minute, and I suddenly, oh, that's me, because they called me by my second name, which is Queenie.
Yeah, it's the name that you got used to. So today we're talking about Valentine's, but in all sorts of different ways. I want to know what it means to lots of different people, because we're all unique and we're all different. And one of the things that we love doing is we love falling in love.
Oh, yeah.
We love falling in love. It just gives us something to live for.
Something special.
It gives us that oomph, you know. Between you and me, when I was single, if I went on holiday somewhere and there was a good looking guy, it kind of gave me that courage to go down, want to go to dinner and, you know, and look at them all the time and,
look
you know,
good, yes.
look good and look nice and get dressed up and everything. It's just the way we are. It's our nature. So, what was the first time you fell in love?
Well, I was 12 and I started going out with a boy who looked like John Travolta. Absolutely head over heels in love with him. And it was my fault I lost him because I played him about, went out with other guys,
When you
then
were
went
12,
back to him.
sorry.
Well, 12 to about 14.
Yes.
Yes. And in the end, another girl latched onto him and managed to keep him. But it was my fault because I messed him about.
Did you? Did you? And did that hurt? Did it hurt?
Yes, because being my first love,
Mm.
it was a very strong love, and I could recognise him in a bus queue or anywhere from behind with his back to me. Very strong.
Strong memory.
I remember going to a youth club camp and messing him about again. And I was still at school, and I thought, oh, he broke his leg, and I thought, oh, great, you know, Peter's not coming. So I was flirting with his brother, and then he turned up, Peter with a broken leg, on his bike, and in the end there was a bit of a tussle between them, I'm afraid.
You're very naughty.
Oh yes.
So, but what was did Valentine's Day exist in those days?
Oh yes, yes, yeah. And I can't remember the Valentines I got, apart from one which stands out, which came from my husband when we were courting. I used to wear a red roller neck jumper, and he sent me a Valentine's card, and when I opened it, this is a woman in a red jumper, and the booze popped out at her.
Oh, no.
I still got it, I think.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah.
So that was the first Valentine's card you got
First
from
special.
it was going to be your husband,
Yes, yeah.
right? And how long was it before you got married then? After that,
When I the grandfather of Jacob, I married when I was 26, and we had 33 years together, I believe, and then he died of cancer. But it was good. We loved each other very much, but we were very different. Very different. He was quiet, very, very brainy. We'd call it brainy man, and I was just the opposite,
Yeah.
noisy and practical.
But isn't that thing about opposites
Yeah,
attract, and
yeah.
we seem to need something we
That's
see
a
in
bit
that
different
person.
to us. Yes,
Yeah, it
yes,
really helps the
yeah.
relationship along a bit.
Yes. He was always supportive, not in a loud or aggressive way, but always supportive. I did 30 years with the Scouts. He wouldn't come in because he didn't want to work with children, but if we went camping or anything, he was always supported me.
Always there for you.
Yeah.
That's lovely. That's really, really important. So again, I mean, the 14th of February, again, is coming along. And I like to think of that being a world global day to really care
Show you
about
love.
people and to tell people how you feel about them. How do you feel about that?
Well, it is a special day, especially for young people, I think, because they can, even if it's in a letter, they've not got to speak to somebody, they can let them know by correspondence how they feel about them and that they're special. And it doesn't matter how young you are, it's easy to do. You haven't got
Yeah.
to go out and say anything, whereas of course when you mature you should be more capable of saying I love
How
you
you
and showing
feel.
it in a
So,
yeah.
but going back to the days when you first met, what was your husband's name?
Martin.
Martin. That's a good name. A lovely name.
Yeah.
So when you met Martin, when you're going back to those days, of course you didn't have text, you didn't have Facebook.
No,
So
no.
how would you approach, when you want to approach someone that you really like, what would you do? Did you write letters?
Well, I'm afraid
or-
I'm a very awkward person and very independent. If I actually like somebody, I would do the opposite of getting them to like me, which
Right.
sounds weird, but because I was so independent, I would not forward.
Right.
If you, not that I couldn't, but I would. And he chased me. I a couple of times, and he was going to have me, and that's the sort of devotional love. So even if I tried to put him off, he wasn't having it.
Right.
And that won me.
So what years are we talking about? When did you meet?
I met him when I was 20. We were in the youth club together, you see.
Yeah.
So I went out with him for about 3 years before we married, and
so we're talking around the war. Was it the Second World War?
No, I was born at the end of the Second World War. I was born in 42. So this had been a rock and roll time.
Right.
Because I was very good at rock and roll.
Oh,
I loved rock and roll.
Like
I had a
dancing,
huge red skirt, which was a full circle, and when I danced, it disappeared. And I said to my mother, "Where's my red skirt, Mum?" "I got rid of it," she said. "I'm fed up with seeing your knickers."
Present that Martin gave you for, say, for a special occasion like.
Oh yes,
Valentine's.
he was good. He didn't say anything, but always came up with the goods. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember presents, but always plenty of flowers and chocolates.
Right. So that tradition of flowers and chocolates,
Yes.
that's been around in the UK for quite a while, has it?
Yes, yeah. Well, of course we're ladies, and we like flowers and chocolates, don't we? I know I do.
Yeah.
I don't know any lady who would say she didn't like them.
So I think the only thing that probably we've inherited from America and stuff like that is probably the naughty underwear sort of
Oh, right.
bits and pieces.
Yes, yeah.
Because that wouldn't be very British, would it?
I think it is now, but I don't think it was in my day.
No, in those days. Basically, you're saying that it's been around for a while and the traditions
Yeah.
keep going and they haven't really changed.
I know I've got two sisters, and when my eldest sister was in her teens, the chaps were still going away for the 2-year in the army on RAF or whatever. And she used to write to several, because again, she was in the with the youth club, and we all went through it. Sisters and she used to a lot of them till it all finished. Not long after that, and married again one of the youth club members.
So a lot of romance going on there.
Yes, lots of people in the youth club married, each other.
Yeah.
And we did have reunions up till about 10, 15 years ago, I suppose. We'd all get together at some one or other houses. Yes, to belong to a youth club, it was special, really, special time.
So do you have any funny memories? Obviously you must have a lot of fun memories from with you and Martin together. What would be something that stands out that you...
I don't know particularly about fun memories, because he was not a funny person. Tender memories, yeah.
Everybody's got that, especially if you've been together for a long time. Like, I've been married now 21 years.
I bet you could tell some memories.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And we did speak a little bit about how we got together on the stage and stuff like that. But I think that's what keeps you together, doesn't it? And you all also, what else do you feel kept you together? Because we felt that you have to have things in common. You have to, in some way. We didn't have children, but
we
you
didn't
have
have a lot of things in common apart from our life principles. We felt the same about how to bring up the children. Now, I don't know where this came from. Now, my mother and father, very working class, no money, so that we weren't able to go to university. My older sisters are clever, quite clever. One of them very clever, but they couldn't go on because there was no money. Yet my husband and I wanted our children to go to university. So you wonder where that comes from, because your mother and father weren't into that. So how did you have that sort of mind where you wanted? I suppose it's just wanting the best for your children.
Yeah.
So those sort of principles and the code of behaviour, they were the same. But we didn't have a lot of interest in common. When I first married him, he used to go down the shed till 2 and 3 in the morning, and I used to think, oh, what's wrong with me? Am I doing something wrong? But that's the way he was.
Yeah.
He never stopped. He was always fiddling or working things out or making things, and I had to accept that. I had to accept, am I going to moan at him and nag him and change him into something I won't want?
You can't do that.
Or am I going? What I had to do, I got into scouting,
Right.
and my life was fulfilled in scouting and church.
Yeah.
So that left him to do what he wanted to do, because you can't change someone unless you do something wrong.
Exactly.
I don't feel.
You hit the nail on the head. You've got to get a life and do the best with your own life.
Yeah.
And
work together
complement
as
a
well.
relationship
Yeah.
is supposed to
Yes.
complement that. You can't change anyone, but the more you change, they're more likely to change. But that's beautiful. So thank you so much for that, Queenie.
Thank you.
It's
very
going to
much.
be beautiful. We're going to
Nice to bring out the
interview you.
memories. My life laid bare. It'll be called.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
With eyes that burn into my soul, a smile that spread across his face. He is perfection, he is grace, the man I love. You know this, and hold me close and hold me fast. The magic that you cast, it is like your nose. When you kiss me, Longer soll. 'Cause if you love me, really love me, nothing matter, darling. I won't care. The golden fingers of Johnny Harrison. Hey. I felt like I had touched heaven. He gave me a 10-franc note and his address on the corner of a piece of newspaper. Mon Dieu, it was unbelievable. Jarny, it couldn't be true. theatre company for women over a certain age.
Yeah.
And I sing, yeah. Quand il me prend dans tes bras, il me parle tout bas.
Patrick, você started to sing. C'était qu'elle s'égenouille. C'était un ballet aujourd'hui. Il vient, c'est moi que je viens. Traîner par son vie, on musicien. Un jour, c'était
If I loved you time and again, I would try to say all I want you to know. If I
happens all the time.
All right, Maria. I'll arrange the dispensation on time. You know, I know a dark and musty little sacristy in Verona, heavy with the smell of incense from the cedars of Lebanon. We can be married there before you leave.
Oh, dear! Thank you. Oh, blessed Virgin Mother of God. I am now a normal woman, married at last. Right. I will give money to the poor, and I will give benefits to the church. I will be a good Greek Orthodox woman, and I will do my best to hold my tongue. But please, please, sweet Virgin, make sure that he is here when I return.
Hi, Steve.
Yeah.
So you saw the Callas show.
I did.
Maria, what did you think?
I thought it was terrific. As I think I said to you soon after seeing the show, you have with Callas a unique diva, a unique singer, and one would imagine that
time in my life, my head was filled with erotic fantasies as he held me close, and I felt his cheek against mine as we danced. Oh, Harry. We boarded his aeroplane and flew to Venice, and then we boarded the Christina. We swam in the Mediterranean and made love all night. He loves me. Woo! Leave it to Harry to hit me where it hurts the most.
Maria, I am flying back to Italy. I want my wife to drop the divorce proceedings. My children are not happy about it.
Oh, he loves me not. And it became impossible. No curse was too vile. Oh, it was Harry. Must you humiliate me in front of all these people? Oh, and of all times, I decide to become pregnant. Harry, I'm going to have a baby.
Just get rid of it.
Ha 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 ha!
I thought the show was absolutely fantastic.
Pay the money and go. It's really good.
And get the CD. It's the best show I've seen in absolutely wonderful. She portrayed Piaf with such confidence.
It brought a tear to the eye. Her singing was wonderful. She told the story of Piaf's life beautifully. Very emotional.
Wonderful getting to sing. She was right in the character. Fantastic. I recommend it to everyone.
Je me fous du passé avec mes souvenirs. J'allume le feu, mes chagrins, mes plaisirs. Je n'ai plus besoin de balayer.
I love going to the theatre and getting involved, emotionally making, and she really does that. She puts her heart and soul into something and that comes over.
I was absolutely mesmerised and I love the song.
Wonderfully evocative songs that really just captures that whole spirit, and I thought you did it beautifully.
Most enjoyable performance.
Believe in it. I am the lover. My song must be said. It must cry from the heart. It's my life. I can be happy, but not for long. Doesn't go with my looks. And the words must be simple. Must have poetry too. The kind to make them believe. After Marcel died, I was so lonely. All I had was my singing and my song. I do my shows and come back to an empty apartment. It was awful, awful. I had to have people around, lots of them. So I bring around anyone who was around to come over. My people that I didn't know, didn't even care about. But they made me laugh. A few shots, a few drinks, and a good laugh. I was dancing in a sea of lost loves, stopping only to perform in another city for another audience, while stopping in the bars to pick up anyone in the bars along the way to come over and start the party all over again. I knew the men I went with didn't care for me. I didn't care for them. I was always able to get a man into my bed, you know? Quick, easy love affair. Lousy love making that's over before you know it. Some of the men I went with I felt like I touched cheval. Des yeux qui font baisser les miens et sa rire perce sur sa bouche. Voilà les poteries, sonneries touche, l'homme à quel j'appartiens. Quand il m'est près dans tes bras, il m'est parlé tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il m'a dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça de quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, l'a juré pour la vie. Jusque de l'aperçoit, alors je sens en moi mon école qui bat. With eyes that burn into your soul, smile that spread across his face. He is perfection, he is grace, the man I love. Hold me close and hold me fast, the magic that you cast, it is la vie en rose. When you give me heaven's sighs, and when I close my eyes, it is la vie en rose. When you toi jusqu'à mort. Je tomberai en blanc si tu m'aimes demander. Accrocher la lune, voler les fortunes si tu me demandais. Je la quête, je suis une star, je la brille toi et moi. If you ask me to buy you, you can say anything, got you anything you ask. If you love me still, and at last, when all of life is through, I wish to spend eternity with you. But if you love me, doesn't matter. I don't care. It's the love in the house. Et la terre n'est pas bien. Sono morto, si voleva, mon amour mystique. Tu m'aimes. Avec l'éternel qui tournait avec le fou, avec le fou. C'est à cause de cela, on les voilà, ne les croit pas, et un jour ça va éclater.
Lauren from Moving On Theatre, who is actually producing a show all about Edith Piaf.
Bonjour everyone, I'm very grateful to be here in Henley Festival today. Are you enjoying the weather? Your weather's very strange here in the UK. Okay. I'm going to sing the song that everybody knows. You know, a lot of people don't know who Edith Piaf was, but when I sing this song, they all know. I don't understand why, but they do. Okay?
Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Dis-le bien, tout m'a fait. Dis-le moi, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien. Non. Je ne regrette rien. J'ai payé, m'oublié, oublié. Je me fous de penser. Avec les souvenirs, j'allume la faim, les chagrins, les plaisirs. Je n'ai plus besoin de balayer les amours et les autres mélanges. Balayer toujours, je repars à zéro. Now you can join in. No, no regrets. No, I don't have no regrets. All the best, it has gone. Life is good, and forever I'm strong. No, no regrets. No, I don't have no regrets. Car ma vie, car mes joies. Aujourd'hui, I commence avec toi. So, Love Conquers All, it's my life story. Ooh, it's my ups and my downs, my breakdowns, my lovers. You know, I could not get to sleep at night with the feeling of the man's leg against my body in my bed. But don't tell anyone, Lauren doesn't like that bit. Bye. Bonjour.
Thank you very much. That was Lauren from Moving On Theatre, who will be performing the story of Edith Piaf.
Didn't record. Hopefully this is recording. So, looking at everything from the mind of God instead of the ego. So last night I had this huge outpouring, as I said, of pain and suffering and grief and attachments. Huge, huge, huge outpouring where everything was just too much. But it all had to come out. It all had to come out, and it did. it all came out. So now we're looking at creating everything from the mind of God, from the mind of love. So how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? And so I thought I'll do this video. I tried to record it before, but it didn't record. I don't know why. Because I want to be able to refer back to it next year when I work the course again. I want to refer back to lesson 45 again, to see everything from a new perspective, from new thinking, from love, from kindness, from compassion, from the point of view of neutrality, rather than getting caught up in the pain, the suffering, the ego, the games that the mind plays. So let's start with something simple. I mean, if you can't think of anything easy peasy to think of from the mind of love, I mean, look at that tree in the Positivity Center, for example. It's beautiful. The whole place is beautiful and green, and look at that tree. There are ley lines here, and this place makes you feel very calm and very relaxed. There is definitely something about this place, and I think that's why I'm drawn here. It feels comfortable, it feels safe, it feels relaxed, it feels healing. I just wish it was warmer. It's really, really cold today. And I'm sitting in the car, and I haven't got the engine on because it's so cold, and even the engine won't. So, so today, as I said, it's not about analyzing, it's about staying in the body, staying in the heart. But the Course is saying to us to come from that mind, the mind of love, the mind that in your heart, your spirit, your love, your kindness, your gentleness, your compassion, come from here. Come from here, don't come from here. Don't come from the past, don't come from the future, don't come from, we're coming from fear when we're in the other mind. We're coming from fear, we're coming from all that other stuff from the past, the future, the body, age, worry, grief, fear, panic, anger, rage, whatever, frustration. So it's all about coming from the mind of love instead. And so sometimes it can be just a simplistic thing like looking at a tree. The other mind that I have, the mind that I've grown up with, the mind that has been dominant in my life is the mind of loneliness, the mind of abandonment, the mind of not wanting to go home to an empty home. The mind of the weather being too cold here. The mind of grief, as I say, this is what you're brought up with. This is what's put into your head. This is the past. This is what you're brought up with, and you pick up from other people, your ancestors, your friends, your family, their belief systems. So the Course is saying to you, no, be like a newborn babe. Start again. Start from the beginning. Come from the mind of love, a new attitude, a new perception. Nature, beauty, kindness, love. And yet my heart feels sad. My heart feels sad. Because I'm just working this stuff again and again. So don't deny what you feel in your body. You have a right to feel whatever your body feels. Don't take that away from yourself. If you feel sad, then feel sad. If you feel angry, feel angry. If you feel frustrated, I feel sad. I feel very, very sad at the moment. Empty, I'd say. Empty and sad. And that's okay. This mind is the voice of people saying, oh, you're not allowed to be sad. Why would you be sad? You've had a beautiful day today. You've had a massage. You've been with incredible people. Why are you sad, Lauren? You've got a roof over your head. You've got food. Yada, yada. Why are you sad? I just feel sad. Feel sad. And it's okay to feel sad. That other part of me that loves me says, you're perfect. So what? Feel sad. It's no big deal. You're allowed to. See, that's another thing. Validate your feelings. You're allowed to feel sad. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not allowed to feel sad. You're allowed to feel sad. You're allowed to feel unhappy. You're allowed to feel sad. You're allowed to feel fear. You're allowed to feel anger. You're allowed to feel your feelings and your emotions. You're allowed to. And don't let anybody tell you that you're not. When you start to fight them, that's when the neutrality and the love goes out of them. You start to fight the sadness. If you don't, surrender. Say, yeah, sadness, come in. Come on, sadness. Hello, sadness. It's like that song, hello, sadness, hello, darkness, you know, from Simon and Garfunkel. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Bring it in. Bring in the sadness. Bring in the darkness. Bring it in. You're allowed to bring it in. You're allowed. You're allowed. What you resist persists, remember. So the Course is saying to us, there is another mind, the mind of love, the mind of God. It loves you 100%. And so it does not judge you. So, you know, you cannot judge yourself when you're coming from that mind. As I say, I'm doing this course not just for you, but also for me. Because the more I watch it, and the more I can watch it in years to come, the more I'll be able to get the message loud and clear and work it on a different level. This year is very deep for me. It's a very deep level for me. It's opening up huge wounds inside me, more wounds than I thought I had. It's opening me up in all sorts of ways, particularly the sacral. So much is opening up in me. Going dancing seems to satisfy a lot of that sadness and fear of getting old, fear of dying. So yeah, be with your sadness. I feel sad and I'm going to stay with that at the moment. And if I fight it, it won't go away. If I stay with it, it will be absorbed in some way. I'm going to put on a coat and I'm going to go and walk in this beauty before it gets dark and pours with rain. Just so I can absorb the beauty of nature before I go back to that house I live in. If you feel like that, if you feel sad or lonely, unhappy, contact me about the miracle retreat that I hope to form. I've been talking to people and to make it a real thing, not just a dream, where we can be together and we can work all this stuff together. So you don't have to be lonely. You can have your own space, obviously, but there's always an alternative, and at the moment there isn't that alternative. I go home to 2 cats. That's it. And it's not enough for me. Is it enough for you? What is it that you're denying in this life? If you come from the mind of love, the mind of God, which loves you more than anything, what is it that needs to change in your life that isn't working? That's what the Course is about. What isn't working? hopefully when I watch this next year, I will have been able to have moved on, fixed in a positive way, fixed some of the things that don't work, aren't working. Loneliness. I'll be a few more steps closer to creating that commune that I feel, the kibbutz, where people are not lonely, where people can reach out for a hug. They're not lonely. It just feels so wrong to go back to that house, to go back to the nothingness and the memories and the grief in that house. But I don't have to go yet. I can give it another half hour, maybe even an hour. I can just sit here and breathe. Breathe with me, guys. Feel your heart open. Put your hand on your heart and let it open. Let it open. Let it open. Let it open. Send the love everywhere. Send the love to anybody else who's suffering, because the minute you open your heart, God, my head is itchy. The minute you open your heart and start sending the love out, and don't think about it, just send it. As someone said to me today, keep sending the love out. The minute you do that, you connect to another soul, another soul, another soul. It grows, it grows, it grows. And make sure you're grounded, feet on the ground. Make sure you're grounded when you do this. Do what you love. I love you guys. I hope the lesson helps you today. Lesson 45. The mind of love, not the other one. God is the mind in which I think. Or love is the mind in which I think. What does that mean to you?
Someone here who also saves my life a lot. medication. There's no drugs involved. It's all on the NHS. So if you know anyone who has borderline personalities, please tell them to go and see the doctor. And you really have to change yourself from inside out. And it's a huge process. So Moving On Theatre is here to promote it. If you go onto my website, you can read all about it. If you want to sponsor us, myself and Francis basically have mental illnesses, and I hope to be producing more shows about more performers, maybe arsenic and no lace, as they're all. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Oh, feedback. Oh yes. Do you know this is the 4th show that I've done now? So it's completely new. It's new. So I need your feedback, and I really hope you enjoyed it. So if you want to put some feedback and your email address, then we can keep in touch with you. I'll come out with feedback forms. And if you want to ask me any questions at all, then if you've got a few minutes, it's up to you really.
Interviewing Anne today. She's a very innovative thing that she created her mask with. Do you want to, this is Baba Berta here. Would you like to tell us, darling? What have you got on there?
What have I got on?
Yeah, what's she wearing? Marks and Spencer's knickers.
Yeah.
Right, right. There you go. You need to be very innovative, don't you?
Yeah.
Sweetheart. So why are you wearing a pair of knickers on your head there?
Well, I think they're rather pretty, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they look a lot better.
Good, don't I? Don't you think they look better than the mask?
They look better than nappies or
Yeah.
sanitary towels, don't you?
Oh, definitely.
You see, you've got to be innovative, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've got to be innovative. And you've even got the label there, so you're,
Oh, have I?
you're promoting it.
Oh, yeah.